because they want to, not because I had to ask for it. It counts only when my partner does something for me because they want to, not when I had to ask for it. Is that rarely true, sometimes true, or often true? Number 5. When I ask for something from my partner and I get it, I can still feel unsatisfied. When I ask for something from my partner and I get it, I can still feel unsatisfied. Is that rarely true, sometimes true, or often true? Number 6. I feel misunderstood by my partner. Rarely true, sometimes true, often true. 7. When my partner falls through on a promise, I can take it very personally. Rarely true, sometimes true, always true. 8. I find it upsetting when my partner perceives something I do as unloving, even though I mean really well. Yeah. I find it upsetting when my partner perceives something I do as unloving, even though I mean really well. Rarely true, sometimes true, often true. 9. I worry about whether my partner and I are fundamentally too different. I worry about whether my partner and I are fundamentally too different. Rarely true, sometimes true, often true. 10. I struggle for a long time before I will ask for help. I struggle for a long time before I will ask for help. Rarely true, sometimes true, often true. 11. When I imagine my parents, it's difficult to picture either of them looking back at me in a proud or adoring way. When I imagine my parents, it's difficult to picture either of them looking back at me in an adoring or proud way. Rarely true, sometimes true, often true. 'It really gets under my skin. This is 12. It really gets under my skin when something feels unfair in a relationship. It really gets under my skin when something feels unfair in a relationship. Is that rarely true? Sometimes true, often true. Okay. Okay. All right. So every time you said rarely true, that is 0 points. Every time you said sometimes true, give yourself 1 point. Every time you said often true, you will give yourself 2 points. You will add up all of your points. And basically what she's saying is that these statements will kind of disagree, I commit to finding a win-win solution. When my partner and I disagree, I commit to finding a win-win solution. Rarely true, sometimes true, often true. 9. When I put my needs on hold so I can fully hear my partner, I'm confident those needs will eventually be addressed. That's a good one. When I put my needs on hold so I can fully hear my partner, I'm confident those needs will eventually be addressed. Is that rarely true, sometimes true, or often true? Yeah, that's a hard one. 10. I can just ask my partner for what I want, and it usually works out one way or another. I can just ask my partner for what I want, and it usually works out one way or another. Rarely true, sometimes true, often true. Okay. You're going to do the same calculations you did for the first quiz. Every time you marked rarely true, that's a 0. Sometimes true gets 1 point. Often true gets 2 points. And then you'll add that every. Oh wait, there's 2 more questions. I almost left these out. There's an 11. When my partner and I fight, I take the lead to help us both feel okay again. When my partner and I fight, I take the lead to help us both feel okay again. Rarely true, sometimes true, often true. And 12. When past relationships have ended, it was a mutual and well-considered decision. When past relationships have ended, it was a mutual and well-considered decision. Is that rarely true, sometimes true, or often true? Alright, now go ahead and add them. Okay. 0, rarely true. Sometimes true, get 1 point. Often true, get 2 points. Alright. Now if you scored 18 to 24, that's a high. And it basically says that our relationships are a resource for you. And that's partly because you do your best to ensure that you and your partner are taking care of each other. You usually take the high road when people are acting their best. No matter how stressful things get, you try not to go there. A high security score paired with a low insecurity score indicates a secure style of attachment. So that means that if you had a high score this time and a low insecurity score last time, that you've got a secure attachment style. If you scored 9 to 17 this time, that's a moderate, and that means that relationships are important to you, and you try your best to show up as your best self. You may even know exactly how to handle a difficult relationship, but when things get stressful,